Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm doing the patch 13.6 notes rundown, so if you enjoy the content, like and subscribe, and let's get into it. To begin with, there are a lot of changes to this patch. They are mostly focused towards buffing up a lot of the lethality items, whilst nerfing down Duskblade of Drakthar, along with a lot of other changes which are focused towards pro play. We'll see how the patch kind of shapes out. So Akali is going to have her Q energy cost reduced from 130 to 70 to 110 to 70, and the damage is going to go up from 40 to 140 to 45 to 145. So this is a pretty nice buff early on into laning phase. It allows you to more frequently be able to double Q, and the damage going up also allows you to CS easier, have a better time trading with people, and overall this just helps Akali out a lot. This would definitely put her on the radar for pro play. This might also help out some of her more tanky builds as well, as it's the base damage which is going up and not the ratio. So we'll have to see how that shapes up. Brand is going to have his passive buffed by 10 at all ranks. The Q is going to go from 80 to 200 plus 55% AP ratio to 80 to 200 plus 65% AP ratio, and the EAP ratio is going to go up by 10% as well. So overall, big brand buffs. These definitely help his more raw AP builds, where you're picking up things like your Rabadons, opposed to more utility items like like things like Rylai and Demonics. You're still probably going to pick up these items, but it definitely opens up the opportunity to go things like Rabadons later on into your build. Definitely helps brand mid more. These are very nice for like your wave clear, having the EAP ratio go up and the mana restore, but still definitely really nice for brand support. So that's pretty nice. Caitlyn is going to have her attacks per headshot to go down by 1. This is pretty good for Caitlyn's ability to trade within lane. Allows her to more frequently get headshots up. It also allows her to only need to auto 3 times from bush rather than 4 times, which overall allows for synergies like Ivan Caitlyn possibly, along with the fact that these are going to be more utilized by elite players. This is definitely going to help Caitlyn maybe see some pro presence as well. Echo, not someone who's probably going to see any pro presence, but these definitely do help him a lot in the early game. But slow going up by 8% at my early ranks. The initial magic damage on the Q also going up by 10 at all ranks. Really helpful. W is going to be having its shield go up by 30 at all ranks as well. Another ability which is definitely going to really feel the buffs. So overall, Echo really going to be a lot stronger of these. The main one is the Q on the initial magic damage going out, as this allows him to clear a lot faster. It also possibly allows him to CS and maybe clear waves with certain thresholds a lot easier. So overall, that is definitely something to watch. If Echo mid does become really strong off this, then we might actually see Echo within competitive, especially with the shield gaining 30 value. This helps mitigate a lot of poke if he's using it within lane. It has a pretty low mana cost. Karma is having her Q AP ratio increased by 10%, and the ultimate Q AP ratio is also going to go up by 10%. And the R mantra cooldown is going to go down by 3 at max rank. Overall, these are quite nice for lane karma. These are mainly focused towards lane karma, definitely. The R mantra bonus doesn't really affect support, as it's much later on into the game. And the AP ratio for Karma support, you're also not picking up a huge amount of AP. It does help her poke a bit, and it does open up the choice for ultimate pod Q later on in the game as well. But for the most part, these are definitely solo lane AP Karma buffs. I would still recommend kind of going more util when you're going solo lane, but definitely helps. Passive, Lucian's passive is going to be buffed by 5 on hit. These are pretty trivial buffs, still quite nice though. Helps his pairings, where you're able to utilize your passive a lot. Might see some Lucian from this. He's already seeing a bit of mid and top play, so he might continue to see more mid top play, and on top of that some ADC. Lulu is going to have her health growth go up by 4. The magic damage on Q is going to go up by 10% on the AP ratio, and the E is also going to gain 10% on the AP ratio. These are pretty small buffs. These aren't suddenly going to push Lulu into a spot where she can solo lane either. These are just fairly trivial solo Q buffs, but they definitely do help her solo Q. Full health growth isn't a lot, and 10% AP ratio on both Q and E adds up to a very minimal amount when you're picking up maybe like 200, 300 AP in a game. Sometimes even less than that. Malzahar Malzahar, which is someone who wasn't listed in the preview, is having his E damage tick rate reduced from 0.5 to 0.25, and the minion execute threshold is going from 50 to 45 base on level to 10 to 30 base on level. These are gonna help his last hitting, but the lower of the execute on the threshold is gonna kind of even this out. So Malzahar still a really good low elo champion. You don't really see him oftentimes in high. Should be a fairly power neutral change. Emilio, his Q damage is going to be increased later on, but it's going to go down by 10 at early rank, so slight nerf early, big buff late. The AP ratio is going to go by 30% though, which is a huge buff. The shield strength is also going to go up by 20 at max rank, and the AP ratio is going to go up by 5% AP. So overall, pretty big buffs towards Emilio. He's definitely struggling at the moment because they over-nerfed him from his pro presence. These shouldn't push him back into a spot where he's really strong in pro, but he might see the odd couple of games, especially if things maybe like Cogmore pairings and stuff like that. Neferi is having her base armor reduced by 2, the base attack damage reduced by 2, and the base attack speed reduced by 0.025. So overall, these are very much towards, I mean, these are elite nerfs, which is kind of weird because she's definitely dominating more in low elo. Overall, these are just going to hit her a bit. She's very strong in the top lane at the moment, and they're hoping to leave her relatively strong in the mid lane, but nerf her top strength down a bit. Nidalee is having a bonus AD ratio added to it, so AD Nidalee is getting a bit of love here. That's kind of interesting. Shouldn't do almost anything. We're not suddenly going to see Nidalee get AD play, but definitely an interesting one. This is her swipe damage, the not the heal, which it shows here. Rek'Sai's Q damage is going to go from 21 to 45 with 50% bonus AD to 34 to 50% total AD. I believe this is a nerf till level 13, where until it turns into a buff. It is a very small nerf early, but a small nerf early to a Q, which is a pretty spammable ability, can add up to a bit, so could be quite meaningful. We'll have to see. Shaco is going to lose some mana regen and base mana regen, and his mana cost on W is going to go to a flat 70. Mainly enough towards solo lane Shaco, shouldn't impact jungle Shaco a lot. Shyvana is being hit with nerfs towards her W. Both the damage per second and the on-hit damage are going down. The damage per second is going to go from 2070 to 2060 with a losing 10% bonus AD ratio. And the on-hit damage is going to be going down from 5 to 17.5 to 5 to 13. And the AD ratio is going to be going down by 2.5%. Overall, this just sucks for Shyvana. This champ already struggles in higher elo. She desperately needs her VGU, but it sucks that the moment she becomes strong or relatively playable in high elo, but she's just been hit by 2 relatively big nerfs, and this is definitely just going to put her in a spot where she struggles. Overall, I hope they nerf her late, buff her early, just allow her to compete more frequently in higher skill brackets. But overall, this is a miss. It kind of sucks. Sardis is gaining 90 base mana. Could be kind of scary for competitive. Shouldn't do a huge amount in solo queue though. People don't tend to manage their mana as frequently. People in solo queue do max W, as pros tend to max Q. Q has a lot of value with things like first strike, definitely. Target dummy. What? Is this some sort of target fruity? I'm guessing this is supposed to be some sort of arena change. Yeah, well, I mean, interesting. Fair enough. Tristana is gaining 4 base armor. Her armor growth is going from 4.2 to 4.5. Base magic resist is going from 30 to 28, and the health is going to go down from 670 to 640. These are trying to keep her relatively power neutral in the bot lane while being enough to Tristana mid. It should kind of do that with those changes. Wukong is gaining some mana regen growth. 0.15. The Q mana cost is going to go down from 40 to 20, which is the big one here. This is definitely like having a 50% mana reduction on this allows them to use it a lot more for farming, more frequently for trading. And then the mana cost on W early is going to go down from 80 to 40 to 60 to 40. So overall, pretty big mana buffs towards Wukong, definitely help him in the top and even the mid lane. Axiom is going to have 5% ultimate cooldown refund added onto it, so it goes from 5% to 10%. With the plus 40% lethality, this should put this item in a really good spot. I definitely recommend building this on a lot of lethality champs. It has really good value as a 3rd and 4th option. Duskblade of Dragfar is having its cooldown go from 10% to 10 seconds to 30 seconds, and the missing health damage is going to go from 20% to 80%. This is a pretty big nerf. Losing basically the ability to proc this twice in combat really hurts, and the missing health damage going down by 2% is just going to be a relatively it's definitely going to hurt, but it's not huge. Overall, just going to hurt the item a decent amount. This is a pretty big nerf, and it should put it significantly more in line with the other lethality options. Prowler's Claw is having its cooldown reduced from 10 seconds to 5 seconds, a huge buff. And the damage is also going up from 85, well, the bonus AD ratio is going up from 45 to 45 for melee, 30 for range, to 55 for melee, 35 for range. So overall, pretty big buff on the bonus AD ratio there as well. Serpent's Fang is having its lethality go up by 3 from 12 to 15. Brookglaive is having its lethality buffed from 10 to 13. And then we go into arena balance adjustments, which there are a lot of them. Moving on to skin, there is a surrender quality of life update. These are mainly just making it so it's no longer revealed. You can't spam FF, and it now shows what type of FF it is. Clash is ARAM this weekend. I probably won't make an ARAM tier list. I might. I'll give it some thought. And then we got a mythic shop rotation, so a bunch of mythic skins. Cool. Bug fixes and quality of life changes, a decent amount here, and then the skins. So we've got Immortal Johnny Kel, pretty nice skin. How do I exit out? Nice. I'm stuck. God. So we've got Immortal Johnny Kel, and the tab is gone. Nice. We have Shyvana, which is a pretty nice skin. Sona's, which is also a pretty nice skin. I mean, a bunch of these are just very nice. I know a lot of complaints about the Soraka one, how it mimics a lot of her other animations, but it's still a very nice skin. Personal favourite is definitely Zed from this. I think the Zed one looks really good. He definitely fits the aesthetic of his skin line. Zeri, another skin for Zeri. Already has like 3 or 4 now. And a Sona Prestige, which is really good. I'm glad Sona is getting Prestige. She is someone who has played a lot, and at least it's not a replica. So that's all cool. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.